yet held in precarious station. Set upon defense and sealed his will to guard and protect his new nation. So he resolved to defiant of all who would challenge his right to be free. With a swift-sailing vessel and 10 carriage guns to hunt the world's oceans and seas. Born to go into harm's way, for all ye hell and high waters be damned. No lightning, no thunder, no hurricane hail can stand in the face of his wrath. Be beneath his enemy's feet, like cloud with a gaze cannot grow. The tide that rise, every last man shall shake.
Ship is operating water assigned to us for submerged operation by Opscan 481018, verified by the nav and myself. Sounding is 1385 fathoms beneath the keel and checked with chart. I have verified that my launch team is ready to submerge the ship. I intend to submerge the ship to 155 feet. 5.
My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand up on the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven, many foemen, many foemen.
We are at war. This is our time. Our nation. It needs our men and women. It needs our patriots. It needs our citizens. We are only as divided as we allow our government to divide us. It has been state overreach. It has been the federal government overreach, intruding into your lives, telling what 3 men and 3 women should do or can do with their lives. It is not up to them. It is up to us. It is up to us to protect our children and future generations. If we do not stand together, who will stand for us? No one will stand for you. No one will fight for you. You must do this yourself. And together, we will win. We will prevail. We are going to restore the freedoms to this nation. And my brothers and sisters died. But your grandfather died. This is our country. We must reclaim it. We must take it back. We cannot allow ourselves to fail. I will stand alongside you. And together, we will turn the tide in the war for our freedoms.
My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand up on the prow, noble bark I steer, steady course to the haven. Many foemen. My mother told me someday I will buy galley with good oars, sail to distant shores, stand up on the prow.
We can't let it stand for one reason, and one reason only, because we do not serve this country. It's the oppression of our people. It's the oppression of our citizens in this country. Our brothers and sisters did not die on foreign soil. For big companies to collude with the government.
Good evening. This is Cash Jackson. I'm your host with the War is Hell podcast. I'm joined by my executive producer, CJ Abernathy, in the back room there. And thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to get into an interesting topic for what's coming up on January 6th. It's a pretty big day. A lot of people weren't previously aware of kind of what's transpiring on the 6th, but I think more and more people are beginning to catch on to what's going to happen coming up here with the certification of the electoral votes. So we're going to spend some time on that tonight. We're going to talk about what we believe might be a looming standoff between Republicans and Democrats and their respective bases. And I think that that's what we're getting ready to see in January is going to be a very contentious 3 weeks, to say the least. And will we or will we not have a new president in office come January 20th, 21st, morning of the 21st? Are we going to have a brand new one, or are we going to have we're going to have ourselves a standoff of sorts? I don't know. I wish I could predict the future, but I can't. What I can do is take a look at what's unfolding in this country, the events to come, and we can have a conversation between working men and women here. And that's what this show is about. This podcast is about networking with working men and women. War is Hell is applicable in many different ways because we're at war for our very freedoms and liberties in this country. And so this podcast, it's not just about veterans or veteran issues. It's entirely about bringing working men and women together. What do I mean when I say working? Well, I come from a lower middle class to, at times in my childhood, from a poverty class. And so I've got the background and the experience from my own childhood, communities that I live in now, in where my family and friends and social circles still live. A lot of them live well below even middle class. And that's my family. That's my network. It's pretty funny. I just came out of the grocery store a little bit ago, and one of the girls there, was bagging up my groceries for me, and she says, "Where are you from?" And before I had a chance to answer, she goes, "Because I was going to say that you sound like a Yankee." And I couldn't help but laugh. And I'm like, well, actually, I'm from quite a bit further south than what you ladies are. And two young girls there. And they both, of course, one, piped up first. Louisiana? I said, yeah. She's like, I knew it. Well, this is the community that I come from. So just small town people. And while they have the ability to integrate into large cities just as easily, my preference is to be rural, to be in small communities around America. And that's anywhere from New York to Southern California up to Washington State down to Florida. I like small towns. I like, but even in larger towns, where I'm the most comfortable is being around people that come from similar backgrounds as me. And I think that that's just natural for all of us, that we gravitate towards those that it's, conversation comes easier, right? The relatability comes easier. And for me, that's from people that really know the struggle here in life to just try and get yourselves up out of poverty, to just pay your bills every single damn day. I'm gonna have to shut this heater off. It's making all kind of racket back here behind me. Oh man. So anyways, that's what this show is about. It's what we're building out here. I just got done having a wonderful conversation with an individual that we're going to be leasing our first studio. Yay! Where's an applause thing? There's like a cheer thing, CJ. Throw that in there. Come on, man. Where you at? Perfect opportunity. Yeah, there he is. There he is. I mean, I figured you had one of those little button sounds back there ready to go at a moment's notice when we needed a cheer and applause. I don't know. I mean, I just thought maybe you had some executive producer, rabbit in the hat type trick you're going to pull out from me. But all in due time, my friend. We're building a rapport and a relationship, and you're getting to know me. So pretty soon you're going to catch on with, well, there's, you're kind of like the Flare, CJ. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like the stock F-150 guy, and I expect you to kind of make this machine like a Raptor. You know what I mean? You tap on some accessories here, right? Slap on some missiles, the stuff that we need outside of just me. And
All right. Well, I'm glad that you brought me up, Cash, because I'm just going to come on screen because I forgot to share my screen and let everybody know I'm going to do the job that you don't like to do. I'm going to ask people for their hard-earned money, their working-class money, to go over to Patreon real quick. And if you could help support the broadcast by joining either the $3, $9, or $25 tier, there will be a sponsor tier soon. And that'll help build the goals and the dreams of this broadcast out to fruition and not just talk about it. And if all 44 of you that are watching live right now went and joined and signed up for Patreon, this dream would happen a lot sooner. And Cash would be screaming,
Comes the money.
Here we go.
from the studio.
Here comes the money.
From the studio. That's where we want to be. We're gonna... I like it. Yeah, he's got to do the obligatory money ass thing. We're trying to build up something for, again, this is our dream, our ambition, and our passion. And I hope that you'll be a part of that. Myself and CJ both been kind of searching for that post-military life. Like, what is it? What are we going to do with our lives? Where do we fit in? And I think that we're finding where we fit in to the bigger picture. I dabbled in politics there, and there's I don't know. Good God, I could go around so many different topics, man. I just want to go down these rabbit holes of all kinds of interesting shit that I learn and find out. I'm one of those type of people that enjoys a lot of diversity in his life, right? I'm not a 9-to-5 guy and it's part of the reason why being in the military was really difficult for people like me, because you want to kind of do things your way. You know what I mean? You just want to do things your way. And it's oftentimes it's hard to do that in our place of employment, right? And I want to help people break out of even having to have that 9-to-5 job, to work for yourself, to build up your own business, your own dreams and ambitions and ideas. And I think that what we're doing here is also helping to demonstrate that you can, in fact, do that if you position yourself correctly in life. And one of the things I did to position myself correctly in life was to spend my first 20 years of my adulthood in the military, from 17 to 37 years old, which has now afforded me the opportunity to work on doing this, to build something of my own. And that's what we want to do. We want some media being developed and telling the truth, the scary truth for what it is, without the manipulation, without the narrative, without all of the BS in between. We want to be able to have a conversation of all the facts on the table, right? And then let us decide. And that's what we want for the people. We want for you to get facts onto the table about more specific details of our daily lives and how it's impacting us. And so, for instance, I can't recall ever in my childhood or even really adulthood discussing the particulars of the Electoral College and the process of certifying electoral votes. Sounds pretty freaking dry, doesn't it? Well, yeah, except for the fact that we're on the brink of a civil war, so we might as well talk about it, right? And preserve a little bit of our history in case all of the books get burned. So we're going to pull up a little bit of information. We want you to interact with us. We want you to fact check us. We want you to go over and find other links, bring them in here, throw them into the page. And we want to have a diversity of ideas and opinions. This is not an echo chamber. Don't bring that BS over here, right? I don't want us all to think alike, sound alike, look alike, be alike, nothing. I want you to be as individualistic as you want to be, who you are in your entirety, right? I want you to feel that on this show, on this broadcast, if you come on to the show as a guest, I want you to come on as a guest, and I want you to speak your mind. It's live. right? There's no script here. There's no censorship here. Whatever you say, whatever comes out of your mouth, right? That's what it is. And you're going to have to own it. The same for me. So number one, if you come on, be mindful of what you're going to say, right? If you get nervous, I understand that. Yeah, you've probably never been on a show. There's other people watching. You might get nervous. That's okay. It's okay. Everybody does. Everybody gets nervous being on a show, being on a broadcast, but don't let that nervousness, you don't want your mouth to run before, your brain finishes processing the ramifications of what you're about to say. Process your thoughts first and then articulate them clearly, or, be prepared to own it. So CJ just sent out the link there to join the broadcast. For any of you who want to join later on in the show, we're going to open that up a little bit later. And of course, Patreon members get first dibs. If there's Patreon people in the back, they get first dibs to come onto the show and interact and air their grievances, their opinions, their viewpoints. If you're a hater of mine and you want to tell me what a lying sack of shit I am, I'll open it up to you. You can come right on here and you can tell everybody just how horrible of a human being I am. But be mature enough to stick around for the rebuttal, right? Don't come over here and dump your shit like a coward and then run, because then I'm still going to tell everybody. I'm still going to give my rebuttal, right? But now you've got the added shame of having run away like a coward, and everybody will see that for what it is. But you came here, you shit talked, you did it on a fake profile, whatever, and then you ran. We don't put up with people like that. I don't have any patience for you. I like adults. If you can be adult enough to disagree with me civilly, or if you just want to have a cursing match, we can have that too. We'll probably wait for a much later hour for that though. That's like an 11 p.m. to midnight type ordeal. Go over to TikTok, man. You guys tell me what you think about what I'm doing over here. That is the War is Hell podcast TikTok. You can see the likes there have exponentially increased over the last couple of days to 30.6 thousand. Apparently some people over there like what I'm saying. And, I'm not politically correct. I'm calling it like I see it. And it's going to piss off some people, of course, as I'm known to do, because, well, I got things I got to say. And unfortunately, I'm going to say it how I want to say it, not how you want me to say it. And that might piss off some of you. Matter of fact, CJ, would you do me a favor, man, and pull up one of those TikToks that I had just done? And I want people to see what I'm using, what I'm doing with this platform, right? How I'm furthering what it is that I'm trying to accomplish here. Much of what I'm trying to accomplish is, of course, to educate and to teach. And if you were to go over there and see the comments coming from people, you're going to see that, number one, what I'm doing is appreciated. Number two, you're going to see opposition to what I'm doing. There's people who don't like what I'm doing and they don't want me to say what I'm saying. And it's all the more reason for me to build out larger platforms so that I can reach more people, right? Because I think that we're on to something with what we're doing here. All of them out there. Eric Carroll with what he's doing down there, and Dad Talk Today, and there's several shows out there that are built. Dr. Carlos Rivera, if you guys don't follow him, he's up in New York. He's getting a good show up and going. This is all innovation within our movement. It's an innovation within people on social media using this for more than simply, our interactions. Look, to do what we're doing and to do something far superior to what we're doing, okay, we're all capable. I want you to get out there and I want you to really, really start being involved. That's a lot of what this is about, is that human connection and involvement and discussion on how can we do things better as a nation. How can the working men and women in this country come together, find that common ground, discuss some common sense solutions, get them implemented, and hold our government accountable with a lot more transparency than what we have. I don't think it's any secret in this country at this very juncture that our Congress is run amok. completely amok. They're doing whatever they want, however they want to do it, whenever, where. They're just amok. The whole damn thing. It's a gigantic shit show. And I think that we probably agree whether we're Democrats or Republicans. And unfortunately, what's happening in many of your minds is, what, you know, depending on which one of those you identify with, you're automatically, the first thing you come to is you go, yeah, but it's more their fault than ours. And then it's wrong. That's inaccurate. It's all of them's fault. It's all of our fault for allowing this to transpire and get to the point that it's gotten to. Yeah, I don't care. You can play that one, the top left one, or you can play the middle one. Either one of those have music. So we got to be careful with some of the ones. You can use music. This is the weird. You can use the music on TikTok, right? And on TikTok, you can automatically share it over to Instagram, which is also owned by Facebook, but you can't share it over to Facebook without getting slapped with an unlicensed use, thing, and they rip your video down or rip your post down, or they hide it or block it or whatever it is that they shadow ban it, whatever. But it's stupid that you make the thing on TikTok. They have a thing to share it to Instagram and Facebook, actually. Yet if there's music with it, they kill it. Yeah, play one of them. I'll shut my mouth for 2 seconds. But fathers in many states have no rights, and the mother retains 100% of the rights. If there's ever a young man or a man in this country who says, I can't economically provide for my kids, or I'm not in a place of time in my life where I'm ready to have kids, the woman gets to make the unilateral decision, right? But if the man's not in a position to financially support this child, he gets no choice in the matter. Even if it's quite clear that he doesn't have the ability to support the child. Yes, he probably shouldn't have laid with that woman, but it's an injustice to treat men the way that we do and allow women to walk away from their financial responsibilities using 3 big pieces of domestic policy that allow this. You can't be pro-woman and anti-dad. Just impossible. So when a little girl grows up absent her biological father, she's far more likely to drop out of high school, live on welfare, abuse drugs, abuse alcohol, potentially commit violent crime, and ultimately become a product of the system, having emotional, mental, and behavioral disorders. All of these things are significantly increased when our little girls and boys don't grow up with their biological dads. The numbers are easy to find. Over 20 million American children are growing up absent their biological fathers. And it's not because we woke up one day and didn't want to be dads to our kids or want to provide for our children. It's because domestic policy through the failed war on drugs, through the welfare state, and through the multi-billion-dollar family law industry continues to separate good dads like me from our children. We love our kids, and we want to be a part of their lives, not just every other weekend. You can't be pro-woman and anti-dad.
People out here, man, I'm trying to see people depressed, hurt.
I'm a retired Navy veteran. Those are my 2 children. I haven't seen them in
anxiety,
over 2
depression,
years.
suicide.
I spent over $85,000.
Whatever the case is, man, like, I'm trying to see that TikTok, like every other one, the same thing.
I'm a whistleblower.
Like, we gotta learn how to express our feelings more.
Because of this and the development of this media, just like this.
Not in a violent way,
the state
but
of Illinois and Lake County
more proactive.
continues to deny me access to my children.
You gotta have better self-esteem,
Illinois
more control over our
violated its own
feelings.
state statutes.
Sure, like, I do the same thing.
Everyone's
Everyone's not perfect,
They
but
violated my due process rights and that of my children's due process.
we just have to meditate,
They never served me with emotion or
take deep
notice of
breaths,
emotion.
power through.
And on the
Everything
judge's
gets better.
own order, it wasn't an order
Just
requested
takes
by
time.
the opposing counsel.
Remember,
Severed
stuff
contact
change.
with my kids to punish
Better.
me.
People out here, man, I'm trying to see.
So, get a feel for the direction that I'm going over there. Now, it's not entirely about family law, but a lot of it is. It's a different audience and demographic. A lot of people that are picking up on what I'm talking about over there, and it's one reason that I just started that TikTok account here recently, and I didn't even really do anything with it. In fact, whenever I first created it, but then I started throwing up some videos, I'm trying out some different styles. I'm trying to expand my own personal repertoire. Yesterday morning, that was at just over 10,000 likes. Yesterday morning, so in a little over 36 hours or so, it's went from 10 to over 30. So apparently something that I'm saying over there, people like, and it's resonating. And these are whole new audiences that we're reaching. And you can take your own creativity over and do the exact same thing. Now, look, I realize you got concerns about China and tracking and all that. Yeah, I do too. I've got the same ones. But in all honesty, what's happening in this country is very much a deep-seated Marxist, communist, or fascist authoritarianism of state overreach into our lives, in every aspect of our lives. That's what's coming. Okay. And if we're not front and center on this, if we're not out in front in what's transpiring, what are we doing? Right? Do you want to just go back to just running an ad in the paper? Do you want to write just an opinion piece in your local paper? How do we reach people? How do we change minds and hearts in this country if we don't get involved ourselves? And that requires us to be, we have to be adaptable, just like we were in the military. You might not have been in the military, and that's okay. Doesn't mean that you can't adapt. You can't learn more. You can't progress your own skill sets and knowledge and get outside of your comfort zone. I've really enjoyed doing the ones that I've done in uniform. Putting on my sailor uniform and making some of those TikToks for a couple of reasons. One, this is a political messaging style. Two, it's a character development, if you will, right? It's another piece that I can build and utilize to reach people, to reach hearts, to reach minds, because many of these people, they don't give two shits about family law, right? They don't give two shits about half of what we're talking about because they're so immersed in this social media culture that it's weird, right? Where's our country going, right? It kind of borderlines somewhere around severely narcissistic to, a fantastic avenue to connect individuals and talents and in family. And we can see people break out of, I think social media has been great for helping people to break out of their circumstances. Because if you take an artist, you take a musician, you take somebody who might not have presented that they had any talent. You had a guy on a fucking skateboard, okay, of all things, cruising to a tune, drinking some freaking, what was he drinking? He was either a Native American guy or a Latino guy. I don't remember. Guy with a shaved head and like the neck tattoos and shit. And it all like kicked off this viral thing. And all he was doing was chilling on a freaking skateboard, drinking some, God, y'all know the one I'm talking about. CJ, find the video. Play me the video, man. The guy, the guy. Come on. It's, oh my God. This is, oh man.
All right. So hello to the comment section. I see you there, Brandon,
who I'm talking about.
Carrie, Amber, Travis, Kathy, Stacy, Jay, Brandon, Mr. Gilligan, sir. He says, good evening to you, Cash, and myself. I don't know what video you're talking about, man. I really don't. But hey, as always, I like to come on when I have something to say.
Cranberry juice, yeah.
Oh, the cranberry juice guy? Oh, okay, I'll get it.
Juice guy.
Don't worry. Hey, I promise you by the end of the show, I will get the cranberry juice guy in this broadcast. Now, I wanted to let everybody know, last night I went to marinaphoenixart.com, and honestly, I was really impressed by some of the art I saw here, and I actually ended up buying one of her pieces. I have only girls in this house, and so I bought this one that I thought was really great for my girls called Sisters, and I'm going to put this in their bedroom for them. And I thought that was just so well done. So, yeah, that's going to go up in my girl's bedroom. So if you guys can go help out Marina. Cash just advertised it off the cuff last night. And then I was just sitting there like, well, I was looking at it and I was like, I want to get that for my girls. So maybe you guys can have that same feeling tonight too. But as far as your cranberry juice, man, I've heard the comments. You have spoken. You want cranberry juice,
They want to
man.
see it.
You want him.
Well, look, it's
we'll
part
get
of,
him.
yeah,
Don't
right
worry.
now. No, we want him right now. Can we get him?
You
Can we get him
children,
right now?
calm down. Calm down, you children. I will take care of you. Don't worry. But you first go over to Patreon and complain over there to me first.
Yeah, go over to Patreon and beat CJ up. And anyways, yeah, the ocean spray guy, right? Drinking the cranberry juice, cruising, just enjoying life, man, listening to some music. And holy crap. Hey, thanks for letting me. I didn't know this, Kevin. You got a free truck and free juice for a year or something, right? So we can verify that. But it helped that guy break out. And it's done that for a bunch of people. Here he is, yeah.
Feel good moments of 2020. Now we're learning more about how his life has changed since going mega viral. Fox 5's Angie Goff talked to him about that and his love for the Washington football team. Take a look.
I had a chance to sit down and tap into the mind of Nathan Apodaca, also known as Dogface. Oh my gosh, the interview of the year, viral TikTok skateboarder star Nathan Apodaca joins us now in months. You're out of the RV, you bought a house, you got a new truck, you're hanging with Snoop Dogg. What's been the best part of it all?
Everything, my dad's been working
Snoop.
at the same for 30 plus years, you know what I mean? And just to be able to help them out and get my mom a car, get my dad a car.
The story behind that video was the car broke down, right? That you were supposed to take?
That day when my car broke down, I grabbed my skateboard, grabbed my juice, started walking, and yeah, it was right there. Everything clicked. It was just so perfect how everything just fell in line. And then, yeah, I almost didn't post it, but like I said, I reminded myself again that I can always delete it if it doesn't do well. It took 7 hours to hit the first million, and then after that, it was just crazy.
You got Mick Fleetwood to join TikTok. When you saw their videos, what did you think?
I was just blown away. You know what I mean? When I first seen Mick's, I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" He did it. Then all of a sudden, Stevie did it in her skate, and then I seen Lindsay come out and did his on this horse, and I liked how he did his transition with the horse and everything.
Well, I got to get your reaction to another video.
Oh man! Green screen and everything.
So how did I do?
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man. So you see what I'm talking about? That's the power, though, of social media and how at any given point in time, something can break away and really have this tremendous impact on people across the globe instantaneously. That guy, famous overnight. You heard him buying his, I think he said he bought his mom and dad a vehicle, and this guy got a house. He, I think was living homeless, or I think he was living in an RV, if I heard correctly. But that's what we're leveraging, and that's the network that we're building across social media. So take, for instance, our use of StreamYard here. We can bring on people. So let's say I bring on 3 guests, for instance. And so there's a total of 4 of us doing a panel. And the 4 of us have 8 different social media channels that we can stream to. Well, then that means on this one broadcast right here, right, through this show, we're gonna be broadcasting to up to, say, 32 different channels. And I believe we can even go over that. But that's the power that we have when we're utilizing this correctly. And it's a tool to bring ourselves together, right? And if we don't leverage it to its fullest capacity, and it's just merely for mindless, mind-numbing entertainment, for a lot of people, that's all that they want. They just want to disconnect from the rest of the world. But unfortunately, we've gotten to, with many people, an unhealthy disconnect from society and what's happening. They don't want to be involved in what's around them. They don't want to really be a part of it and not be just a passive observer of what's happening in this country. So we're going to be going out to DC on January 6th. We're going out here. So President Trump calls for massive protest in DC. January 6, 2021. We're going out for several reasons. Number one, to be journalists, right? Citizen journalists, to be reporters, to broadcast something back to our hometowns and our communities so that you know, hey, I know that guy. You can be like, yeah, I know Cash Jackson, or I know CJ Abernathy. They run that Wars Hell podcast, and they're over in DC, and they're streaming live from out of there. That's what we're going to be doing. We'll probably be live streaming, getting footage, doing interviews, and doing them live. That takes time, money, energy, resources to go and do that. And we want to do that because we want to be a part of what's happening in our history. I don't want to be a passive observer and read about it in history books or see it on the news myself. I want to be right there. And I think that it's a pretty cool thing to be able to bring that right to, to your doorstep, and for you to go, hey, I know that guy. I know those men. Those are good men. And you support our show. You support our broadcast and what we're doing. So January 6th, what is it and why are so many people going? Why did Donald Trump call for a rally on that day? Let's get to the meat and potatoes of the matter. January 6th is what, CJ? That is the day of certification of the... Let's go through this together. Let's learn something together, right? And that way you can go forward and teach others about what's happening. Hold on one second. I'm going to have to enlarge my screen. My old ass eyes ain't going to let me read this. So the Electoral Count Act of 1887, right? Later codified at Title III, Chapter 1. It's a U.S. federal law establishing procedures for the counting of electoral votes by Congress following a presidential election, right? So this is the counting of the electoral votes. The law was enacted 10 years after the disputed 1876 presidential election, in which several states submitted competing slates of electors, and a divided Congress was unable to resolve the deadlock for weeks. Close elections in 1880 and 1884 followed, and again raised the possibility of an electoral dispute coming to Congress, or of partisans in Congress using the counting process to overturn the result. Wow. What is that? Of partisans in Congress using the counting process to overturn the result. That sounds eerily familiar to what we're talking about going on right now and why we're even at this point. After years of discussion, Congress passed the act in 1887 and has followed the act's procedures since then. The act aims to minimize congressional involvement in election disputes, instead placing the primary responsibility to resolve disputes upon the states. The act sets out procedures and deadlines for the states to follow in resolving disputes, certifying results, and sending the results to Congress. If a state follows these safe harbor standards and the state's governor properly submits, this is a lot of ifs. If a state follows these safe harbor standards and the state's governor properly submits one set of electoral votes, the act states that the final determination shall govern. The act thus relegates Congress to resolving only a narrow class of disputes, such as if a governor has certified two different states of electors, or if how in the hell would a governor do that? Or if a state fails to certify its results under the act's procedures. Congress may also reject votes under the act for other specific defects, such as ministerial error, if an elector or candidate are ineligible for office, or if the electoral college votes were not regularly given. So it's going to be, so this is the certification, right, of the votes cast by the electors that come from the varying states. So you've all probably heard of the Electoral College, correct? So when you cast your vote, and I'll use Arkansas as an example, the respective presidential candidates, Biden and Trump, of course, are vying for electoral votes from across the country. Arkansas, there's not a lot here. It's a very red state, 6 electoral votes. So that means that 6 individuals, these chosen electors, right, to represent the state of Arkansas, will go and cast their electoral votes based upon the voting of the people in the state of Arkansas. But once in a while, the electors don't do that, right? And And I think that there's an article out there right now for the Utah GOP doing or going to do this or having done this. I didn't get to read the article. I just saw the headline. So the central provisions of this law, they've not been seriously tested in a disputed election. Woohoo! Since the bill was enacted, some have doubted whether that can bind a future Congress. Since the Constitution gives Congress the power to set its own procedural rules, it is possible that simple majorities of the House and Senate could set new rules for the joint session. In the contentious 2000 presidential election, the law's timing provisions did play a role in court decisions such as Bush versus Gore. And the law has been criticized since it was enacted, with an early commenter describing it as very confused and almost unintelligible. Modern commenters, I don't know who these modern commenters are. This is one of the defuncts of using this. But modern commenters have stated, here we go. You're moving faster than me. On down to the 12th Amendment. Under the 12th Amendment, the Vice President opens the electoral certificates in his capacity as President of the Senate. So if you didn't know that, right, and you're sitting behind your computer, your phone, going, oh shit, I didn't know that. Do yourself and your children a favor. Go teach your kids right now too, right? Tell them a bedtime story about the 12th Amendment and the Vice President opening the electoral certificates. I don't care if you want to descend into, zombies invading America right afterwards, but teach them something. Incorporate that. Teach your children, teach your social circle, right? This information so that we become a better educated society. So under the 12th Amendment, the Vice President opens the electoral certificates in his capacity as President of the Senate. However, the act constrains the Vice President's role in the count. Both houses can overrule the Vice President's decision to include or exclude votes. And under the act, even if the chambers disagree, the governor's certification, not the Vice President, breaks the tie. Wow. On many occasions, the Vice President has had the duty of finalizing his party's or his own defeat. Oh, shit. Richard Nixon, Dan Quayle, Al Gore, and Joe Biden all presided over the count that handed them or their party a loss. Nixon graciously made a ruling allowing late-filled votes against him. Gore rejected many challenges to the disputed votes from Florida. And in 1968, Hubert Humphrey recused himself from the count. Wow, no shit. So see there, we all learned a little bit something new. Now, what is going to be the purpose of having individuals in DC January 6th when this happens? That's kind of a looming question. What are they going to do while there? Right? What's going to be the purpose? I think that it's obvious what the purpose is. And it's one reason I've been telling people you should probably be buying some fresh water, some guns, some ammunition, some medical kits. I don't know, a few things to maybe get you by for a little while if you need it. But that's just me. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe, and that would, best case scenario, nothing happens. Biden goes into, well, I'm not going to say best case scenario because I'm not a Biden fan, but I'm trying to just be objective here. If Biden goes into office, I don't see it. I don't see things going well, right? If Trump doesn't step out of office, I don't see things going well. So I just don't see things going well here. I mean, it really comes down to that for me. And if you're not paying attention to what's happening in this country, come on, man. Dude, shit's getting serious around here. Here's what happens January 6th. So this is an NPR article. Yeah, let's go down through that. Let's go down through NPR. I like to pull different sources. All right. Well, again, this is NPR, right? Just because we pull this or use this does not mean that we agree or disagree, right? We're going to break down whatever we pull up because we'll grab headlines and we'll take it in consideration who it's coming from. That's part of having a discerning mind and attitude about what you read and what you see. So here we go. As President Trump continues to claim falsely that he and not Joe Biden won the November 3rd presidential election, the next date that looms on the electoral calendar is January 6th. That's when Congress meets in a joint session to count formally the votes of the Electoral College, right? And who's going to preside over that? That's right, the vice president as what? What was he? Somebody needs to tell me.
The president of the Senate.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, CJ. So, the states have already counted their own electors, and Biden won with 306 to 232 for Trump. Now it's up to Congress to count the votes as submitted by the states. Here's a look at how the process is expected to play out. I keep trying to scroll down, and I have no control over this. A joint session presided over by the vice president. We went over this earlier. At 1 p.m., lawmakers from the House and Senate will assemble in the House chamber. These are going to be important times, okay? Because on January 6th, you're going to be able to follow up and go, hey, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? If you don't know how far ahead DC is of you with Eastern Time, look that up. But at 1 p.m., lawmakers from the House and Senate will assemble in the House chamber with Vice President Pence presiding in his role as president of the Senate. He will then begin to open the sealed certificates submitted by each state and hand them to tellers appointed from among the House and Senate members to read. In some recent elections, the count was expedited and the entire process was over in less than half an hour. But if there are objections to any of these state certificates, it could take much longer. What happens if there are objections, and will there be? I think that we can all agree probably with this, right? Again, we discern, we pick and choose, right, from information that we've gathered from other sources, if this is not our first source, and then we take and consider what NPR says. So, I don't think right now it's any secret there's going to be some objections, but according to them, they also agree that it seems all but certain that there will be objections from House members to the certificates from some states that Biden won, but where Trump and some of his supporters baselessly charge the vote was rigged. I think Utah is going to be one of those. And after a meeting Monday with Trump, Representative Jody Hice from Georgia, Republican from Georgia, tweeted that he would be lodging an objection to Georgia's electors falsely claiming the courts refused to hear the president's legal case. Back now, funny thing, that judicial system keeps coming up, does it not? The courts refuse to hear the president's legal case. This is a common tactic inside the judicial system, is refusals to hear cases. One such being, the Supreme Court. I don't know when the United States Supreme Court last heard from a pro se litigant on behalf of, if they were in family law. That's what I was trying to get to. I think it's been, over a decade or so. Pull that article back up, CJ. I want to finish with that. The certification process. Please, please, thank you. A key thing to remember is that a member from the House and the Senate must lodge an objection in writing for it to be considered. Okay, that's something I didn't know. I thought that they could do it, just make an oral motion, but it makes sense that it's in writing. It's not entirely clear if any senators will choose to do so, although newly elected Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama indicated he would. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has reportedly urged Republicans not to object. Objecting would put Republicans in the awkward position of supporting a challenge that is all but certain to fail. If a senator does go along with the challenge, then the House and Senate retire to their own chambers for a period of not more than 2 hours, according to the Congressional Research Service, and members get up to 5 minutes to speak in favor or against the objection. So remember, how many people do you have in the House and Senate in Congress? I'll give you one of the numbers, right? You've got 100 senators. Most everybody knows this. How many do you have in the House? These are numbers you should know. So all state has 2 senators, but how many House reps exist? Scroll on down a little, CJ. Please. I can barely read the highlighted part. See if you can bring that down just a little. It's getting hidden by some other stuff at the top of my screen. Thank you. Then each member will vote with a simple majority required to uphold the objection. Both chambers must agree to the objection for it to succeed. Both chambers must agree to the objection for. Do you see these people agreeing? I don't. I don't see it. Okay, we don't have. I don't want to say we don't have, but it's obvious that political stalemating is the popular route here. It's not about just getting good legislation passed or shit canning bad legislation. As recently as 2005, 2 Democrats, Stephanie Tubbs and Barbara Boxer, objected to Ohio's electors, believing there were irregularities in that state's presidential election. The House and Senate each rejected the objection, and the joint session resumed counting Ohio's electors. In 2017, with Biden, then the vice president, presiding, several Democrats rose to object to Trump's election. Do you think that they have forgotten about that? Nope. None, however, had submitted their objections in writing, and Biden gavelled them down, later declaring it's over. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Well, it worked this time. It would seem all but certain any attempted challenges to any of the state's electors will fail, simply because Democrats hold the House majority and would not vote to overturn any of Democrat Biden's electors. Of course they wouldn't. Control of the Senate currently. Why do you keep taking it down? I'm trying to finish this article. What are we doing? Currently hangs on Georgia's 2 special elections on January 5th. But even if the Democrats win those races, the Senate would be 50-50 and Pence would cast the tie-breaking vote. Either way, it remains unclear how many Senate Republicans would vote to uphold a challenge. Senator John Thune from South Dakota colorfully, if a bit disturbingly, gave his assessment of that likelihood, telling reporters Monday that it's just not going anywhere. It's going down like a shot dog. Yeah, going down like a shot dog. I probably would have said something going down like something else, but that's just me. Anyways, Thune's remarks appear to have caught Trump's attention. On Tuesday evening, the president blasted the senator on Twitter, writing, "South Dakota doesn't like weakness. He will be primaried in 2022. Political career over." For some Republicans, the spectacle and a show of unyielding support to Trump and the GOP base may be as important as the ultimate results. And if they lodge enough objections, the proceedings could go on for a while, even if the outcome is preordained. You mean to drag out a gigantic shit show so that their base thinks that they put up a healthy fight, even if it's not going to go anywhere? That's kind of what I read. But I don't know. I don't know. I have no doubt that there's going to be grandstanding. It's going to be a lot of excitement, right? Pouring forth on CNN. We're going to be boots on the ground in DC, right? I got to make my way back across the country, back up the coast, back over into DC in January. And God knows what we're going to have to put up with. I don't know. But I'm going to take a small contingency of very capable men, capable of doing some good things. And we're going to go, and the Veteran Liberty Network and the Wars Hell podcast, we will be broadcasting live from Washington, D.C. And I hope that you'll be tuned in to what we're doing. So we'll be all over the city, I have no doubt. And in likelihood, we might have contingencies in other cities. If you would like to be a part of what we're doing, this grunge journalism, this independent journalism, I'm not just some evening time radio show host, right? It's more than that, right? It's about getting myself involved, using my First Amendment right, freedom of speech, journalism, the works, using the full weight of the Constitution to attack tyranny in our government and how it's dividing us as people. I don't want to be divided. I don't want to see a civil war. I don't want to see people, especially Americans, turning on one another. And that is a point in time that we're at. Our common enemy, America, is government. Common enemy, state overreach. Common enemy, government making your life harder. And unfortunately, because we grow up in certain areas and we're raised in a demographic where, take right here in this community, for example, the majority of people here are overwhelmingly Republican. The Democrats that are in this region are more blue dog style Democrats, right? Kind of your Kennedy era Democrat. And they have a lot of conservative values. But there's some other areas where they just happen to align with the Democratic Party. And I think a lot of that happens to be on social issues and not so much, and I could be wrong here. It's just my opinion. But either way, you're led to believe that because this is what you grow up in, that this is what everybody is. Everybody's normal. Hardy Strong Bear, what's up, brother? Good buddy down there in Georgia, one of the contested states. I am well, and I hope that you and your family are well. Hope that you guys are doing good. So we're not enemies. We've got to get that through to one another. I'm stereotyped as being, a Trump supporting conservative, when in all honesty, I'm a libertarian. I ran as libertarian for governor up in Illinois. I voted for Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians. I voted for people I believe is the best suited for the job. And I think that's what we should all be doing, is voting for the person best suited to do the job. Unfortunately, right now, what we have is Team A versus Team B, and you're forced into one of those demographics. And I get forced into a demographic, into a box by people that don't know a damn thing about me. They just go, okay, well, he's a white dude. He's got to be, and God forbid any of my Southern accent comes out. If I talk to somebody on the left, if my Southern accent or anything comes, certain racist. I'm definitely a racist now. If my Southern drawl starts to come back out a little bit, that is the hyper. I'm glad she's still here, bud. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that she's well, Hardy. Or at least that you didn't lose her. So we'll definitely, continue to, keep her in our thoughts and prayers, man. You've been around and a friend and a supporter for quite a while now. So, we've got this capability between ourselves to make a difference in this country with some common sense, to bring Americans to the table. And when I say come to the table like it's a potluck. Don't come to the table with an idea of, I'm here to destroy the opposing party or the opposing viewpoint. I'm not here to. The purpose of debate, really, I think it's horribly misguided. People believe going into a debate that it should be about me smashing my opponent and proving my intellectual prowess. In reality, what it should be is a learning opportunity for everybody involved, and the ability to advance ideas and innovate ourselves as a society, and how we can be better and do right by one another, not how I can put you down or prove you wrong. But facts are important. And unfortunately, in today's society, facts aren't important. It's all would it be correct to say emotional hyperbole? Would I be using that incorrectly? I don't know. Some English major will probably yell at me. But we've kind of really gotten away from this ability to have these discussions. And part of that's been perpetuated through, well, we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion. Why not? Nothing should be off the table here for discussion and conversation. Nothing. Because that is the only way that we advance our ideas and understanding of different, social aspects or environmental, whatever. You got to talk about it. You got to talk about it. We have to talk about it. And when we stop talking and we allow all of them to do all of the talking for us, we get divided further apart. Why? Because when you eliminate communication, everybody knows communication is key. But the communication we have in this country is controlled by a select few. The communication and the dialogue is ultimately constrained, restricted, monitored, censored, and a packaged narrative is delivered by us. We have to stop that. How do we stop that? By providing a free market solution. What's the free market solution to shitty media? Maybe some decent media, maybe some people that you know, maybe a network of men and women across this country that will set these differences aside and come and help to facilitate, mediate, moderate conversations and discussions, and then get these damn elected officials to do what it is that the people want instead of what them and the lobbyists want. This election is about what lobbyists want, what special interests want, what corporations want. It is not what the American people want. If the American people honestly, had a choice in this, like where they really felt that they had a say in this, they would be more involved. But they don't believe and haven't believed that their vote counts. Your vote does count. In some cases, it's counted long after you're dead, right? Illinois, you know what I'm talking about. In some cases, your vote is counted. And other times, it's not counted at all. So there's a problem with inside our electoral system. I think we should all be able to admit that by now. And while the left is claiming that there's no large systemic fraud, how can you be certain of that? We've proven that there's been people that went and voted at multiple voting stations. We've proven that, there was ballots that were found, last second or ballots, boxes of ballots that disappeared and were subsequently discovered at a later time and date. You've had plenty of election interference. We know what's happening. We haven't taken a close enough look at the entire system to know just how pervasive it is. So we don't know. We have no idea how much of our election system has been being manipulated and for how long. We know it has been since the days of what was the guy from the main politician in Gangs of New York. It's a factually correct, I believe, representation of what was happening. Boss Tweed or something. Or is that the guy from Dukes of Hazzard? What's happening in New York or Georgia, Utah, any of those battleground states, there's a lot that we don't know, and it's been in existence since politicians were first running for office here. Right? It just got carried over from England and wherever else people came from. Corruption and fraud has been a part of the American political system since we've been on this continent. And David Gomez thinks that Biden's won. Well, David, I hate to tell you, but he's not in office yet, and you're trying to count the chickens before they've hatched, bud. And maybe he goes into office, maybe he doesn't. Right? We don't really know, and you can't predict the future. If you could, I would damn sure get my lottery numbers from you, but I know that you can't. Yeah, Boss Hog. Yeah, Boss Hog's from Dukes of Hazzard. What's the main politician's name in Gangs of New York? You seen how the whole political process worked there? That's what we're talking. Oh, is it break time? No. Is it? It is. It's almost 9:30. I'm sorry. Dude, I just got going over here and just didn't want to shut up. We want your music on the Veteran Liberty Network and the Wars Hell podcast.
But I love the way they play, throwing shadows on the stage. And I wonder where you are and what you think about this place.
I don't care what your political viewpoint is. If you got good music, we want to listen to it.
Out on every page. My hero, she's the last real dreamer.
So bring it on over to the Wars Hell podcast.
And I could tell you all about her. I don't think I'll fall asleep till I roll over. Can we just start over again?
All kinds, Jerry. All kinds of music.
I don't think I'll fall asleep till
Bring it to us. We're going to take, I don't know, 5-10 minute break. Whatever you guys need. Go grab a smoke. Take your time. Use the restroom. You know, take a little time. Call your brother. Call your friend. Say, hey, tune in to my buddy Cash Jackson for a little bit. Let's support this guy. He's a working man. He's a veteran. He stays up late hours, and
I hope you're still not over this. Not at least
we're growing something big over here.
My hero, she's the last real dreamer. I know it, and I could tell you all about her. I don't think I'll fall asleep till I roll over. Can we just start over again? And I could tell you all about her. I don't think I'll fall asleep till then. And now I get left alone while you're lost in outer space, spreading love another way, and we'll meet again someday. I've taken all I can, but I keep thinking just the same. Guess I'll die another day, but I'm sure I'll be on my way. Maybe I'll collapse and float away. She's the last real dreamer I know, and I could tell you all about her. I don't think I'll fall asleep till I roll over. Can we just start over again? And I could tell you all about her. I don't think I'll fall asleep till then.
Inside of me, will you need to give it the chance?
I'm lying, I'm just asking you to believe that the things that brought me here doesn't lie within me. So help me if you can and send me on my way. Take what you have to, there's not much left anyway. So drain the blood from my veins. Tell me I'm not okay. As long as I'm still standing, I will see a better day. I'm not from my bones. Tell me I'm going untreated. As long as I'm still here, I won't be defeated. So drain the blood from my veins. Tell me I'm not okay. As long as I'm still standing, I will see a better day. I'm not from my bones. Tell me I'm going untreated. As long as I'm still here, I won't be defeated. Remember the times when everything seemed so easy.
It's a good jam.
Didn't know how close we were to losing it all. When we were content, and even though these memories.
Nick Sky, ladies and gentlemen, featured artist here at the Wars Hell podcast and the Veteran Liberty Network. And we were back from our break. I went and got myself some chocolate milk, let in one of my dogs, let another one out. Yeah. Well, so look, we are almost out of time for the evening. We've got about another 25 minutes because we took a late break and caused a bunch of you to drop off. I don't blame you. And some will come back and some will not, and that's okay. We've cut this broadcast down. We kind of feeling things out, and would go for 3 or 4 hours sometimes. I've been known to talk all through the night. So we're going to branch out on a bunch of ideas. If there's some material that you would like for us to kind of get into that we don't, and for whatever reason, maybe we don't think about it. Give us a heads up. Let us know, and we'll look into it for you. Now, of course, those that are Patreon members, our official Patreon is $3. All access patron $9, VIP patron $25, and of course, different packages will come with those, and CJ and myself will have to kind of design those out. Was that one my cat or is that your cat? That meow? Was that me? Hold on. I think one of my cats is at the door, like meowing. Unusual. They don't normally do that. But it's your financial support that's going to help me and CJ to get our first studio. We're going to open that sucker up. And that is me. Hold on. I see a Paul coming under the door. Hold on. Let me go get this guy. You want to come in?
Well, Jay, you're just in luck. While he's helping a cat, I'm going to tell you what. I don't see any comments. Normally, consistency, integrity, and having a humanistic approach in realistic conversations normally tends to disperse with the more, shall I say, lesser intelligent people where they can't win here, so they got to go troll somewhere else in order to keep up and maintain that. So that's why I say I'm not intimidated by comment sections, because normally it's just mostly it's just a core group of people that will support you till the day you die, and one or two people that are just losers. And like, listen, Cash, you got an audience of people and people that are liking what you're doing, and for one or two people a night to come in and be like, this loser, it's like, you know what? I don't think you're gonna win his audience like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem
right.
like the winning and then you
Doesn't add
go to
up.
some of these, then you go to some of their profiles. Like, this is why I stopped necessarily trolling the working man and woman and started just trolling the governor and trolling legislators and trolling state officials, because they're the ones causing the problem. But like, when somebody comes into your comment section and just trolls you with a dumb comment, you're just like, okay, who are you? And it's like 3 shares on their last post. Nobody's liked anything for a week. Like, I've lived that life. I don't fear the comment section. I am a product of the comment section. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Well, look, here's my thing with people that do that. And I don't mind hearing CJ with the trolls either. If you do come here to troll, I may let CJ off the leash, and he loves that. He loves nothing more. Man, that cat just scared the shit out of me. He loves nothing more than to light up a troll, because I don't filter him. You know what? I mean, whatever he says, well, you probably had it coming.
True or false? I can push the button anytime I want and join the broadcast, correct? Let's see how long the delay is, too.
Do what? Say that again.
Great. So I have to wait 14 seconds just to hear that you didn't hear it right the first time. So I can join this broadcast at any time I want, correct?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm losing you a bunch. I don't know what you did, but it went to hell in a handbasket.
All right. Well, it sounds like.
Well, it looks like my show's locked up right now. So you
right
there he is. Now the cat's going to drive me crazy. Get down. The cat's like, no, get down. And this is part of the reason why I got to get in town and get a studio in town. My internet service out here where I live sucks. Mobile service sucks. It's terrible. And so I need to get into town to where we can kind of begin to eliminate a lot of the streaming issues that we're having, the lagging issues that are causing us. And this is part of being working men and women.
Okay, so what I've done is I've muted Cash, and he's probably going to smack me really hard when he figures that out. And so now I'm going to take my hands off. He's got the button. Okay, I'm testing the delay, but I want you guys to know it is a challenge to do this show when you have your host and your producer on a time delay because of internet. With the other show I produce, Adam versus the Man, there's no time delay in our conversation. This has been a challenge, I hope you know. And when we get better internet, we will ultimately be able to provide a better quality content show for you. So, yeah, it's coming, Cash. And I know, and I will never really, on a major point, ever mute you. But I felt like that was an appropriate time to demonstrate that I have all the powers, and Cash has trusted me with this. So I'm here to make sure that you, the audience, get the best experience. So if there's people in the comments that are making the experience unenjoyable for the overall general audience, that's why you join. That's what I'm here for. I live to find the dumbest amongst you and go, look at this idiot. And that's the power Cash has given me. and I don't want to abuse it. And there's also people that I care about and Cash cares about that I want to use this for good as well. So you get to choose your own adventure when you join this show, when you promote this show, when you become a part of this family. And Jay, like I said, as he says, I bet if CJ used a CB radio, there would be less of a delay. You know, we've thought about trying to use phones to talk, but it just doesn't sound right. It's worse. And there's echoes and delays. I can't do it. I don't know how Cash does it. Cash lives in a delayed echo world and somehow is still like, yeah, I'm probably the most sane amongst all of you. But anyways. And mobile studio.
It's because
good internet. That's all you need. Good internet. That's it, Cash. But anyways, I'll mute myself now.
That's it. Well, no, I mean, we can get away with how we're doing business right now, and we still were able to complete a show and have a productive conversation. We got a little bit different audience over in the evening time than what we had over in the morning time, and I miss a lot of my morning crew over there. So I'm not going to lie to you, CJ. I'm probably like, once we get in studio, I'm probably going to be producing some sort of morning show as well. Because I'm going to want to do live broadcast, maybe a couple times a day. I've thought about this, and y'all tell me what you think. Look, I was thinking about, honestly, I wanted to have more of a conversation about race relations. So I was thinking about just doing a show and just calling it Between Black and White, and where I just bring in different African Americans, Black people, white people, have panels, and we can have the most serious of discussions on live feeds and take live comments or call-ins right there. How your claws are so sharp. This cat, I've got this black cat. I don't know if you can see it. Just jumped up my lap. So we're going to be doing a lot with the network, the Veteran Liberty Network. There's going to be a lot more broadcasting to the VLN page and show. You can't have my chocolate milk. Get out of there.
Man. Well, you know what's fun though, Cash, is you can build these things right in front of people when you're like, I've got a show idea, right? And what I love about it is you're like, man, we want to do a show. What did you call it? What did you call it? A morning show?
Between Black and White.
Yeah, man, Between Black and White. Let's just get a different background and let's just put it in a different time slot and host a very controversial topic and see if we can get some responses on it. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know what you think. Like, you get an executive producer, and I'm just here for 2 hours, guys. I only exist in this 2-hour window. I'm not a real person. I'm a figment of your imagination. I only live inside this box on your screen in your head. And I'm not a real person. I couldn't do a morning show too. Oh no.
Well, Amber brings up an interesting point here. There's a lot of conversation. So I've got a passion for things within the Native American community, and that passion developed more out of my my relationship with men and women that I've developed whenever I went to Standing Rock, right? And I was a part of the whole Dakota Access Pipeline and the water protectors. It was a time in my life that it was right when I was coming out of the Navy in 2016. And I met my friend Ken Forecloud, who's been on the Dakota 38 ride, the Dakota 38 plus 2 ride. If you don't know about the Dakota 38 ride, we need to do an episode just on I'd like to do some episodes on, say, the Dakota 38 ride, the Bigfoot ride. People aren't aware of these things and their historical importance. And I want more people to know about this because I didn't know about the Dakota 38. I bet most people don't realize that Abraham Lincoln had signed the largest mass execution order in U.S. history, which was carried out, I think, December 26, 1868, if I remember correctly. But with that being said, exactly what Amber's talking about. I want to be able to help facilitate that dialogue and conversation. Now, I want to be forthright about a few things that, number one, like I don't see eye to eye with everything from the Native American community, meaning a larger overriding opinion or theme. I don't necessarily hold the same viewpoint. And one of the issues that I've ran into is trying to have conversation and not being able to respectfully disagree and kind of advance the discussion. Instead, I get talked at and talked down to. And oftentimes I'm told, well, you're a white guy anyway. You can't have any say.
Whoa,
and of course, the conversation is pretty much dead at that point.
Have you ever seen Have you ever seen a broadcast called "The Indian and the White Guy"?
I haven't. No.
Okay, well, they're a South Dakota legend group out here, comedy group. Maybe I'll ask them if I can play one of their songs one day. I'm sure they love veterans and would let us play one. You know, the way they have some native music. Honestly, this is not native music, but yes, I would love to listen to native music too. If we had some native artists out there that have done some good native music, absolutely. Would we listen? We'll play it. But Cash, I ran into some videos. Like I have it somewhere where I ran into some of the videos that you had done in Standing Rock from the first time. And there's one video that eludes me right now digitally, and I was physically there because I'm the one that recorded it. And it's the one where you're standing up yelling at the security team on the bridge. It's kind of when really? I mean, I remember that day, and I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. There were rifles pointed at us in our own country. It made me want to point guns back and start going pew pew. But anyways,
right.
But instead, I'm holding a camera so that way, in case you get assassinated, it's documented for all of history. It was quite the feat that day. But that video eludes me. I cannot find it to save my life, and I remember it like it was yesterday. So, I mean, if you
ever found that,
to watch what you helped organize and the people you inspired and the emotions and the feelings and the healing that you helped bring in your conversations with people, you inspired a lot of people. And so it's sad that even after years from that day, I can't find that one video. So if there's anybody that was there that day and has any video of that, I'd love to have you send it to me, and I'd put it on the screen, because that's one that everybody in America should watch, personally speaking. Like, that is the one video that's the one day that America does not know what was said, how it was said. And then, I mean, and if you're forgetting Standing Rock, I mean, I can put those images on the screen any day to remind you of what the government did. And then keep in mind, when you bring up like Abraham Lincoln, he was a terrible person. We put his face on a mountain and Republicans worship it. So let's just remember who we're talking about when we're talking about like people, because like the people that we talk about in a negative connotation, they're people, but some of them are terrible people, not worthy of being put on mountains and have done atrocities. And like I said, it's to me, this show, it's going to give people the opportunity to really speak how they feel. Don't come on this broadcast if you're not ready to say some real raw shit. Like, that's just the truth. But yeah, I promise you that video, if I ever find that again, it'll be the first thing we play.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna play it.
CJ, I like more each time. Well, I might not be the smartest man on the internet, ma'am, but I certainly knows how to do my job, and I thank you. So, but yeah, the Veteran Liberty Network will get better when you get better internet quality, a studio. And I think that there's not a single person out there that doesn't agree with me. If you're watching Cash's content daily, if you believe in the message that he's saying, he is not just somebody that's trying to take $1 from you. He is somebody that will take that $1 and use it to fight for you, fight with you. And to be honest, I'm in this as a startup just like everybody else. I mean, I hope someday you make a bank balling status on this. Of course, who doesn't wish for your success if they care about you? So it blows my mind that some people would be like, oh, he shouldn't be successful. Oh, he shouldn't do this. No, you should absolutely be successful. Where if you're honestly like, I'm waiting for the person that's like, I am going to challenge Cash Jackson. Like, I welcome all of you motherfuckers to step to the plate, click the link. I put it in every video description. It's no secret. This will be daily, and Cash is going to be doing more broadcasts, more shows, more topics, because we're basically giving him the keys to the digital kingdom, and what he does with it is going to be his choice. Wait till you get a real studio with a room. You're like, oh, I'm going to have a giant green screen right here, appropriate lighting, actual soundboards, real studios, actual computers with more than 4 megabytes upload speed. Oh my God. With 32 gigs of RAM. Oh, boom. Like the nerd in me is like, yeah, you know what we can do when we have the appropriate.
Calm down.
But again, my point being that it's an investment. And again, I'm watching Patreon. I'm watching your views grow. I'm watching you be as successful in your messaging. But the thing is that we need it to translate into Patreon members, because that's how we're going to fund this. It's no secret. So what I like about Patreon is that privately you can make your how much you make public. So at some point you can even post it publicly. I make X amount of dollars through Patreon, and there's no secrets. So like I said, Patreon's just the vehicle. I don't challenge Cash. He's always on point. Yeah, no, like I said, listen, I'm invoking I'm trying to like call out the trolls, like Ollie Oxen Free. Hey, you guys, you want to come troll this guy? You want to call him a loser? Listen, I'm taking names and reservations for your funeral. Like, let's go.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man, I know a few numbers that we can just call, and you're going to get all the airflow you want.
No, that's
I know
fine.
a few numbers that we can call.
No, listen, I'm ready. I'm ready, because fuck them. And at the end of the day, listen, there are sides to pick. Shit is black, it's white, it's gray. We'll find the line. We will then see your line, and then we'll meet you at that line, and then we'll talk. That's all you can do on the internet. It's not like we're gonna start like digitally punching each other. We can't. Oh, you know what would be cool? You know what we need to do, you guys? I want to try this out. I want to get something that's gonna zap Cash every time he goes on a tangent, and you for $5 can send 15 volts of electricity to shock him live.
We can hook that up.
We can hook that up,
actually.
Yeah. I want to try things like that. Like experiment on the host, so like and then
as though there's not enough of a delay.
The bigger the donation, the larger the voltage.
You can buy more voltage.
You can buy more voltage.
No, my ex-wife will be using all of my child support to fucking kill me. I would get shocked to death. No, thank you. Look, I don't mind trolls, right? I don't mind trolls, and here's why I don't mind them. Because I never want to be in an echo chamber. I don't want to hear the same shit. I don't care if you agree with me or not. That's kind of the whole point of a conversation. I want you to remember, it's to advance dialogue, advance the conversation. That's why we should be talking more and not less. We shouldn't be isolating more. We should be going out more. We should be meeting more people. We should be setting our phones down. Yeah, they're a great device, man. You can do a lot of entertaining shit. I'm a content creator. I live on these things because I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to educate. I want to reach more people. Like, I've got this endless quench for change, for really good reform in this country, in the world. I mean, the world, we can apply the same types of ideas, principles, and liberties, I believe, nationwide, across the damn, across the entire globe. We can do this because we don't all have to agree, right? We can begin to work together as a nation in small communities to first bring ourselves together, right? Not using these false dichotomies as though you're so completely different from me that we couldn't possibly find middle ground. We couldn't possibly have a civil conversation and dialogue. And, you know, that this person could be one of them, Shango Garvey, right? I don't know. I mean, I don't know who this person is. But maybe we are. Maybe we are full of shit. But, you know, I would like for you to identify something specific that we're full of shit about. I mean, I did just eat a monster-sized bowl of Cocoa Pebbles. I destroyed these. So, yeah, that's sitting heavy on me right now. In fact, I might go and get another bowl because, well, I mean, I'm a big boy. And, you know, if Shango Garvey is your name and you want to come on and tell everybody how full of shit that we are, well, feel free, right? Just make sure that you're prepared to handle the rebuttal. So however you come into my house, right, and have a conversation with me, well, you're just setting the stage for your rebuttal, right? So just keep that in mind, that how you treat others, you too shall be treated. And starting with you clowns are full of shit. Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, that's a, you know, you're not going to hurt me or CJ because, well, you know, we're both veterans. I got that. He's a combat veteran. He was blown up. He was blown up, right? Yeah, well, Shango Garvey's probably a fake profile. Some fake,
They're from Uganda. I'm not worried about what's happening in
I'm
Uganda.
not either. Well, I am. I mean, I want
yeah.
Ugandans to be free and happy people, just like I want people in South Dakota and America to be free and happy.
Listen. Listen, I'm telling you right now, if they have Pan-Africanist political party with the Black Democrat Party, who's a vegan and also a boxer, they have first world problems in Uganda too.
yeah, you're not lying. yeah, good attention to detail. Oh my God, he just totally tagged you. He's right. You got first world problems, bro. Yeah, because people that are starving in Uganda, they eat whatever they can get their hands on. Right, same as Podunk, Arkansas. Hey, where I come from in Podunk, Louisiana.
Anybody else want to get roasted tonight? Because I mean, that's what we could do. I mean, we could just roast the stupid of the comments like marshmallows and make some comment s'mores. Katie would like to know what branch I was in. I was in the United States Marine Corps. I was in the Department of the Navy, the men's Department of the Navy, specifically 1371 Combat Engineer at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, with Charlie Company in Iraq. And Mobility Assault Company in Afghanistan. So I got out in 2010 with an honorable discharge. And yeah, I do have a Purple Heart. I was blown up on Super Bowl Sunday 2008. IED hit the mine roller and knocked me out unconscious in the turret and fucked my brain up. Yeah, while you all were celebrating touchdowns and family at the Super Bowl, I was getting blown up and fucked up in the brain. And thank you for your service, CJ. We're just going to violate your rights and fuck you over after you're done. So, yeah, I'll take your Purple Heart and I'll piss on it and wipe my ass with it because it don't mean shit. You know what it gets you at Starbucks? Nothing.
Nada.
Anyways, now that's
if you can't tell, CJ's a little bitter about having his child kept from him for 6 years and nobody doing anything about it after
today.
I don't know, getting blown up in a freaking
2400 days today. Yeah.
Put that on here. You see, your guys' support, right? It's helping me and CJ in more than a way than just developing a platform and a broadcast, right? Many of you are also, just like my buddy Dave Lacey over here, another disabled veteran, also family law, right? It's going to be us pulling our resources and our networks together that ultimately is going to make the difference. We're going to turn the tide, and you've got to be optimistic about that. And you're going to be more optimistic about it when you're directly involved with what's happening, when you are directly involved with the building of what we're going to use to fight back, right? Bringing our resources to support one another. No more supporting the system. No more paying off all of these attorneys, judges, courts, fines, just bullshit, endless bullshit, right? We pull our resources together, we can attack and eliminate all of this nonsense. We have the ability to do that. You're intelligent enough. I'm intelligent enough. We're capable enough, right? All we have to do is commit to it and be a part of it, right? You got to take actual physical steps and go somewhere and do something and be involved and be a part of it. So when we began getting our studio ready, and if you want to come down and be a part of helping to build that, we've already got the space, right? We're going to be in the space for a couple of years at least.
I sat down to write you a letter. I hoped that it would make things better. But now it's clear to me you're ready to face your time. 'Cause in all 50 states, kidnapping is a crime. I hope that you enjoy your time in jail. And I hope that you can't make bail. You know the time that you've stolen can never be given back. That's why you'll find out why orange is the new black. You sat there and lied in an open court about why you collected my child support. And though the time away from her's been pretty rough, it'll all be worth it when the cops put you in handcuffs. I hope that you enjoy your time in jail. And I hope that you can't make bail. You know the time that you've stolen can never be given back. That's why you'll find out why orange is the new black. And I know that you wish I would just go away, but I will see my daughter again someday. I hope that you enjoy your time in jail. And I hope that you burn in hell. And when this all is over and I have my daughter back, that's when you'll find out why orange is the new black. Yeah, you'll find out why orange is your new black. Thank you.
Yeah, there's my story, Cash. There's my story, Cash. You want my story? It's right there.
No, people need to know our stories, and that's how it becomes so much more personal for individuals that are supporting us when they realize, when they see this is what we're fighting for, right? It's a beautiful little girl. She this is your daughter, right? And the same with my children, that it develops a personal and intimate connection with our supporters because we're human beings and we're actually fighting for something righteous in this country. We're not just putting on a show, for that. We're not a Ben Shapiro out there. Okay. And no offense to Ben Shapiro or any other political commentator out there. We're literally fighting for our kids. We're literally fighting and we're literally trying to build something up out of nothing with our own two hands. We're trying to build this to fight not only for our kids and a better future for them, but for everyone else's as well, because I still believe in this country. I still believe that it can be the greatest country. I think that we've got the foundation and the capability to have the greatest country, but we have to be intellectually honest enough to say, if we can take honorably discharged veterans' kids from them and keep them for years at a time and threaten them with debtors' prisons or put them in debtors' prisons, we're not doing so hot as a country. I'm sorry, we are not. And it pisses me off. It should piss off all of us. And it doesn't make us traitors or haters to our nation. It means we're pissed off about what we were lied to about and what we now know to be true and what we want fucking change in this country. And we're going to fight for that change the best ways that we can. And it's using our God-given talents that we have. And that's what we're doing. We're applying those talents and we're growing. I never thought in a million years I'd be making TikTok video. You know what I mean? Who could have foreseen even in 2016 that I'd be making TikTok videos today? I mean, get out of here. You know,
yeah, true or false.
See what I'm saying?
The choice you face as a father going through this every day is wake up and have breakfast or commit suicide. Some commit suicide. It's fact. And you know, it's if you're not strong enough to mentally handle what is put upon you unjustly, the violation of your constitutional right, your fundamental liberty interest to be a parent. That reason why that's so important is because when you take that without due process, you destroy somebody. You're basically giving them the death sentence without due process. And if you're not strong enough to face it, I wrote that song years ago, Cash, when I first moved to South Dakota. It was write that song or put a bullet in my head. What did you want me to do? You know, it was make that TikTok or I couldn't sleep that night. It was, if I don't get this out of my head, it's going to kill me. And I've wrote many songs. And by the way, I've got a whole album that I could play of just me, my story, and what I've done. I mean, my CD is called, or my album's called "Fuck Your Feelings." It's you do this, you create a whole space in your head to survive what they're putting you through, and what you put out into the world and the content you create is that survival mechanism. And it's kicking in for a lot of parents. And I mean, so again, to judge somebody based off of how they express that pain through court, I mean, like I said, it gets personal with some people. I've seen it all. You've seen it all, Cash. We've had infighting with people that disagree on fundamental narratives of structures of laws, and it blows my mind that, you know, we don't keep it to the bigger picture. That's why, like I said, I stopped talking about individuals. I wanted to start talking about the problems itself and the individuals that are causing it, not the ones that are suffering from it. And that's what you're bringing out, that other people are going to realize is that you're going after those that are hurting people, not those that are hurting. And that's why I support what we're doing here, Cash. I mean, it's and so, yeah. But anyways, you can wrap up the show how you feel tonight. Like I said, I just wanted to tell everybody. Yeah, we support.
Delay. You go.
Nope.
Finish what you're saying. Took himself out. That's the nature of this delay that we're going to be rid of here shortly once we do move in the studio. CJ makes a great point about what we're offering here is that we're offering more than just an outlet for people that have been victimized and are hurting and are looking for solutions. Much like what the Father's Rights movement did for me for quite some time. Was that networking and just being surrounded by other people that were hurting the same way I was. And that paid dividends for me, and it helped me in my survival. And that's also what this is, right? What CJ and I are, what we're doing. We really, I believe, and this will sound graphic maybe to some of you, right? That, our heart, pumps our blood out into our body, out into our muscles. It carries the oxygen from our lungs, that we need to survive. And, as that heart, pumps out that blood, and that life-saving air that we have, the very air that we breathe, people like me and CJ, the very air that we breathe is toxic to us. And how's it toxic to us? Well, the very air that we're breathing in this nation, on the ground that we stand on, right? The ground that we fought for, men and women died for, the air that we breathe, we're choking on it because it's not filled with freedom. And every molecule of oxygen that enters into our bloodstream, it's not filled with freedom, and we know it. We know it because we serve this country, and there's no justification for what happened to us, no justification what's happening to our children, and no justification what's happening to millions of Americans that we now really see and understand, because, we're not as naive as we were, prior to going through this. It was through this process that it really forced us to either, like he said, take our own lives or commit ourselves to fighting for our children and a better future for all of us. And that's what we're doing, right? And I don't know how much more sincere of a commitment you can get from a person than fighting for their kid. And we're literally doing it. We are literally fighting every day to be parents to our children, the best ways that we know how, peacefully, without committing violence. And that's not an easy thing to do. Honestly, it's really not. And the violence that a lot of people see, what we see is they take their life. Since Christmas Day, I know of 3 people that have taken their life. Since Christmas Day, mind you. A 4th one just went to the hospital tonight that I was on the phone with yesterday. We are in a real problem, folks. I cannot personally handle, I am not equipped to handle the amount of messages I get from people that are in so much pain that it's literally pouring out of them. Right? It is. And our nation and state overreach is one of the largest contributors to this issue. And I'm not equipped. How do I help all these people? How do I do it? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a social worker. I'm not a counselor. I'm just a dad who's getting, ran over as well. And then I filled phone call after phone call.
They haven't?
After phone call.
And with it. And it won't be.
You got a clip here for us.
Okay. The due process says I filed this first, right?
Well, I mean, if this is a short session, like a short
No,
matter,
it's a full week.
No, this.
Oh.
His motion.
Okay.
He can have it asked. He can ask to set it on a short calendar, which means, we hold that every week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
Okay, so he could, in all reality, just walk.
You're talking to her. Just lower your voice, okay?
I don't know if you can hear me or not, but so in all reality, he could walk into this court on any open session and get a motion to dismiss, and have it just, that's it, and I don't have to be here. Where's the due process in that?
Sir, I'm asking you to lower your voice and calm down, please. You're a little excited, okay?
I'm going for a kidnapping, Sheriff. Do you uphold the law or not?
I do, sir.
Okay, is kidnapping a crime or not?
Sir, I'm not going to discuss the law with you. I'm asking you.
Then you don't need to discuss anything with me. Be quiet. I'm talking in my natural voice.
Okay, well, your natural voice is a little...
I know, a little abrasive too, right?
Yes.
Little, I don't care about your feelings, Sheriff, because you obviously don't care about the law.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave. That's it.
I need the motion to dismiss.
Sir,
I'm here for
leave.
the motion to dismiss.
Are you done with him?
No, she's not. She's got the motion to dismiss, and she hasn't said anything to you. It's
Sir, please leave.
No, sir.
Now.
No, sir. I'm standing right here. You're going to have to put your hands on me. I was told I'm getting that motion to dismiss right there, and then I will leave.
All right. Okay, then. I guess I'm going to have to take it to jail.
I'm being arrested. Here we go. All I was said was... Here we go.
Say this.
This is it.
Put the phone down.
No, sir.
Put the phone.
No, sir.
Sir.
You want my story, Cash?
Yep. That's what you get for getting right, and that's what you get for getting blown up for your country. This is, and people look, and I'm glad CJ's sharing it. This is what people need to see. This is the harsh reality of the shit we're putting up with. His child was literally being kidnapped from him.
The kicker on that, Cash, is that I was told that I was supposed to go there and they made these deputies go around me, and they knew I was about to get that piece of paper. That's a 11-minute video. They knew I was getting that piece of paper, and that I was getting it to file my response to it, and that she had said, you need to get you need to get this piece of paper. I ended up going through all the booking, getting arrested, the photo, all of that. My shoulder was dislocated out of its socket. I was thrown in a cage, and I could tell my jail story another time, but I got out, and then I got that piece of paper, and then another sheriff's deputy walked up to me on camera, and I got their story on camera. I put my phone down. It was still recording because I don't trust any of them fuckers. But I went to fight for my daughter, and again, nobody came for me that day, Cash. I was by myself. I was assaulted. I was thrown in a cage, and they charged me with 3 misdemeanors. And like I said, they tried to kill me in North Carolina, and my parents believe that they're trying to kill me. And I don't know what to do. It's a mental fuck because I have to fight for my daughter. But I can look at the camera now after 2,400 days and say that my commissioner, the 2 attorneys involved, are under investigation, and my daughter's mother and her stepfather are under investigation, all 5 of them, for the felony kidnapping of my daughter in Hemet, California, Riverside County, by the investigating people in that county, in that jurisdiction where the crime occurred. So it's taken years, and it's taken days like that, Cash, going and standing on the front line for your kid, just ready to get killed if they want to kill you at any moment. And that cop didn't like how I was talking and felt the need to play executioner and send me to the gallows. And instead, again, nobody was telling him I had to leave. It was just, I just needed a piece of paper. And like I said, if I wasn't able to record that, it would be out there for the, it wouldn't be available for me to just show like that. I had to have shoulder surgery because of that day. Like straight up, they ripped my shoulder out of my socket.
Let me say this too. Look, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize that. Okay, number one, you've got on a Marine cover, right? You had on a hat, said Marine on it, and I know you, and I know that you were blown up in a fucking IED, but that guy, especially, you're a police officer, should be observant enough to know, and then maybe ask yourself a question on, I wonder if this guy's got any hearing issues or anything, that causes him to speak at an elevated level. Now, of course, I have no doubt that a lot of emotions involved, which also elevates an individual's voice. And I think that's for any of us. But 2, something that I don't think that they really consider is, him telling you to lower your voice. Your elevated voice, in all likelihood, could have had something, or can have something to do with the fact you were blown up. You can't tell me that shit doesn't fuck with your brain as well as, your auditory system. I've got a lot of hearing issues, and
this is my sister. This is so ridiculous. This is my own sister. This is so ridiculous. You did nothing wrong. My own sister. Like, how much more do I need for evidence? Like, if this was a court of law, who was in the right, who's in the wrong here? This deputy dick shit or me? My own sister's watching, and she's just like, no, this is ridiculous. And she hasn't seen her niece, and I'm there trying to get her niece back in. Like, if that sheriff would have looked at me and said, wait a minute, who in this county's harboring your daughter? Well, wait a minute, let me talk to you as a human being for a minute. Maybe my daughter would have been in Washington with us for this last Thanksgiving holiday. My sister watched this, my mother watched this, my father watched this, everybody watched this, and not a single one of them told me I was in the wrong. So how, and somebody asked in the comments, where the charges dropped. No, when I went back to North Carolina the second time with Chris Marks and my father, they threw me in a cage again. After hearing me out, they let me go to the family court. The commissioner said, if California relinquishes jurisdiction, Mr. Abernathy, we will put you on the phone and get you into contact, and you will physically see your daughter. That was what they were all telling me. I will have rights to be a father to my daughter, and North Carolina will facilitate it, not hinder it. I was like, what? Like, all I got to do is get the state that fucked up to release jurisdiction, and this state will defend my right to be a father? Whoa. That blew my mind. But then I was told that I had to go through their process. I got the opposite. And their processes led me to this guy in this moment where they started pulling some shady shit. This man is protecting criminals on the other end of that door that are doing shady fucking shit. And at the end of the day, they plotted to arrest me, and they plotted to have me thrown in a cage not once but twice. On the second time, they let me speak in family court, and the commissioner said, "Wow, like you would have rights if we had jurisdiction. Like there would be no argument. If we have jurisdiction, you have rights. We would just order the visit. We would order it. It would be done. But unfortunately, there's California, so that's why they're under criminal investigation in California. It's to relinquish jurisdiction in California, and if there was a crime committed before they relinquish jurisdiction, then they are extraditing my daughter's mother and stepfather, the child molester, back to California because felony charges are extraditable. And the judge and the commissioner and the commissioner and the two attorneys are accomplices in this fraud. So to have them under criminal investigation, Cash, how hard is it to get somebody under criminal investigation? Honestly.
Oh, that is very hard. I mean,
so we all
can't overstate just how hard it is in a case like this.
And I sent you one of the audio files of me talking to a corporal that led to that phone call led to me getting an investigator. And so when that's unsealed, because they got to fight to unseal my court case, because all family court cases are sealed, if you don't know, if there's children involved, and that's for every case. And that's whether there was any allegations of anything or nothing, or if it was civil as can be, and you all were best fucking friends. All cases with kids are private information when kids' information's involved. And so, they got to unseal it, investigate it, and if there's charges to be brought, there's charges to be brought before California will relinquish jurisdiction to another state over this case. It's an incredible loophole. But here's another thing. Thank God for COVID, because guess what, Cash? I don't have to walk to Officer Dickhead anymore because I may have been in contact with somebody who has COVID. So stay fucking 6 feet from me before you assault me, asshole. And you know what? At the end of the day, I can participate remotely where I have the right to record these proceedings because of my friend Cash Jackson and other people that have made the legal argument for me to do so. So now they have to come into my arena and they have to tell me I can't be a father in my arena. And I promise you, I will walk to the gates of hell to see my daughter, Cash. You know that. So Officer Dickhead here doesn't scare me. What scares me is that he thought he'd get away with it. He's lucky that I'm not somebody that's going to go get justice my way. He's lucky that I follow the non-aggression principle. He's lucky that I am a libertarian. He's lucky that I actually respect good law enforcement officers because they gave me something good to respect. This guy is lucky I'm a product of good people, or that man right there would be in a lot of trouble right now. And my point being,
well, there's nothing saying that you still can't sue him.
Well,
you can still sue him for
he's a father too, Cash.
For unlawful.
He's a father too, Cash. He's got kids too, Cash. What would that do to his family, Cash? Why do I have to think about the burdens his family would face, but he doesn't think about the burden I'm already facing? These are the things that I'm talking about, Cash. That when these people they take an oath, their oath don't mean shit. They're protecting the people on the other end of that door. Their oath is to that system. Mm-hmm. Their oath is not to protect that veteran standing in front of them. Their oath is to assault them. Their oath is to kill them. Their oath is to violate their rights, to make them be a lesser human, to be below the system, to be a slave of it. And just because we expose it's not a crime, but the retaliation it comes. It does, Cash. You've experienced it. I've experienced it. And you know what? Like we've said, I came back the next time, and they charged me with what they call it, cyber stalking, because I'm able to look up information on people and go, oh, I know who this guy is. I can do facial recognition on his face. I know where he lives now. I can tell you what street he lives on, what school he went to, what his goddamn fucking family relations are, because he fucking assaulted me. And it was recorded.
Yeah, how did they dislocate your shoulder or separate your shoulder?
When he'll say that I was resisting, but this doesn't. But again, this is what happened.
I'm here for the motion to dismiss.
Right here. This is
no,
the
she's
moment.
not. She's got the motion to dismiss, and she hasn't said anything to you. It's
Sir,
you.
please leave.
No, sir.
now.
No, sir. I'm standing right here. You're going to have to put your hands on me. I was told I'm getting that motion to dismiss right there, and then I will leave.
All right. Okay, then. I guess I'm going to have to take it to jail.
I'm being arrested. Here we go.
I guess.
All I was said was, here we go. This is
Put the phone down.
No, sir.
Put the phone.
No, sir.
Right there. That's about the time my shoulder got dislocated. Right about the time that video stops. And yeah.
Well, and you can resist. And I'm not saying I recommend it to people, but you can. I believe that there's case law that if it's an unlawful arrest, that you don't have to.
Well, it is definitely
now, of course,
an unlawful
you're assuming
arrest.
the risk. Right. I'm just saying that, because Katie had said something here that you can. No, I'm sorry. I misread what she had said there. She said you can't resist an unlawful order. Right. Yeah. And the unlawful orders that we've been living under for years now is what's prevented us from exercising any time as parents. So that's, what you captured on video there is a magnificent example of the challenges that we incur. I had something.
Cash, they went for my phone.
Yeah, I've got some, I had something similar there in Lake County.
I had my thumb on the button of my phone, ready to shut my phone down, so that way they have to do shady more shit to get into it if they want to, but at least it's not wide open for them. But that's why that video cuts out. They went for my phone and I hit the button to end it. So who was filming it?
Yeah.
Me, because this is the single greatest weapon against these motherfuckers, and they know it.
Well, I'm glad that you caught it, right? And I hope that of course, that our efforts to to broadcast as well help to be a deterrent from other people. You would think that by now that they would anyway, right? Because of cameras, body cameras, cell phones, whatever. Especially the cell phones, and I agree with you. And it was one reason I didn't shut mine off either. I didn't turn mine off whenever I was in Lake County, whenever Judge Salvi severed contact with my daughter illegally in March of 2018. And that's the stuff that I'm going to want to, I want to show that stuff. I've still got some of that video footage where they surrounded me with all these deputies when I went down into the clerk's office. And all I did was inquire into my case. Like what you were doing. I did what you were doing without the elevated voice, right? I did exactly what you were doing.
Well,
except I still had the same tone that I've got right now. Hold on, let me finish. Hold on. No, let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying. Pause it. Let me finish what I'm saying. Let me finish my thought.
Let's see my tone throughout the whole video and see if it's just that one moment I realize they're violating my rights.
I know that. I'm saying, let me finish. I got it. I still didn't elevate until mine came around the same time though. That, and that's why context is important, right? That we have all of the information, and mine was the same. My tone did not elevate until I realized these fucking people reopened my case. It was in federal court. It wasn't even in the state court. They reopened my case, had a hearing without me present. One of the clerks even says, well, we just did what Judge Salvi told us to do.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, no.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And you know what they did? They sounded, here's what Lake County did for me. they sounded the silent panic alarm. And then I was surrounded by like 5 deputies in court security. They surrounded me. And so I'm recording. And of course, I've dealt with one of these guys several times over. I should remember his name, but I don't. Big meathead motherfucker. And I'm recording, and he's trying to get me to stop recording. He was like, and he says to me, "Oh, well, we have our body cam footage, blah, blah." I said, no, I'll leave this on for me. Thank you very much. And I'm like you, CJ, I said, I'm not leaving until I get a document from her. And honestly, I wasn't even done. But because they've now made such a scene, they've embarrassed the shit out of me. I didn't do anything wrong except for inquire as to how my case was reopened and contact with my daughter was severed. And that's all that I did. And they had me surrounded with all of these deputies. And I used to volunteer for that sheriff's department. Do you believe that? I got a fucking leadership award from them back here on my shelf from the same sheriff's department that now helps to persecute me. Yep. Right? I've got no love lost, and it's all, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. I want to know what those officers were told, but you know what I can't do, CJ? I can't FOIA them because in the state of Illinois, apparently the courthouse owns, and they told me this, the courthouse owns the body cam footage on the sheriff's deputies in the courthouse. They won't even let me fucking have it. And that was upheld by the state's AG's office. I've got the emails. I bet you I can bring them up. So to this day, they never gave me the body cam footage from those deputies and when they surrounded me. And I think I'll probably have to sue them to try and get it. But that's the same shit. And here we are, disabled veterans, right? And of course, I'm getting you don't look disabled, Cash. Yeah, asshole, you're right. Major depressive disorder is not a fucking debilitating disease when you don't see your kids every day.
You
but alas, I digress. Look,
let me finish.
We're going to have to finish this broadcast. It's 10:35. We elected to not go 3-hour shows anymore.
But somebody asked a question. Let me finish the statements here. So, Cash, you know what it's like. Then your story's taken and it's put in the news. I was on Cuomo News with my case. And Abernathy's case is the opposite of Jones, who was another man featured in this story. DNA proves he is his daughter's biological father, but his daughter's mother was married to someone else at the time, and that man's name is on the affidavit of paternity, not Abernathy's. He says everyone was upfront about the situation, and for several years he had regular visits with his daughter. The girl's mother confirmed the basics of his story to Cuomo. But Abernathy did not know about the 4-year deadline when those visits later came contentious. A judge ruled he had no legal rights to his daughter. I'm just a dad who wants to be a dad. How is that a crime?
What's the what was the 4-year deadline they were talking about?
Cuomo 4 got it wrong. It's a 2-year deadline in California. And that you have 2 years to go to the courts to get permission to be on your child's birth certificate. It's a stupid system. It's already been ruled unconstitutional. There's case law that throws that way out the window. But I had a commissioner who had zero history in family law. He was a former criminal prosecutor, and he did not. And there was 2 attorneys just against me. He knew nothing about the law and family law. That your right to be a father is constitutional, not statutory. And so, that's where the violation of due process comes in. And my attorney, when I had one, told him this. And then he told me, you're going to have to take this to the appellate court because my ruling's final. And that's how my case started. That they just said, I have no rights one day. One day I could take my daughter to the zoo and be the best father in the world. And the next, I am a criminal because I want to be a father to my daughter. And so, yes, I hate my government very much. I hate so many of the politicians that are in there. I hold so much disrespect in my core to the system that they've created, and I make it so that if you've signed a Title IV-D next to your name, like you voted for one of these things, you are my literal enemy in life. I will harbor you no safe harbor. There is no shore that you can stand on my island. I will watch you drown. You are my domestic enemy. You are the domestic enemy I speak of when I say domestic enemies are violating the Constitution. I am speaking of you. And the system that's in place, Cash, it's exploitative. But what happens is you have to take charge of it, and you have to learn how to survive in it, because they know you'll get a story in Cuomo 4 News about DNA testing, and you can watch the fancy store. Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this, Cash. This is my news story. Oh shoot! But yeah, I guess it won't work today. But you know, again, we got our
Good,
news
because
story.
we're about to be on a 3-hour broadcast.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
we got to wrap it up, man. We can reserve. We'll do an entire 2 hours on just your case.
We did this already. That's what I'm saying.
You know,
I'm
we'll
not.
commit
I've only said what I legally can say tonight. But all I can say is I am in an active investigation, and I am praying every day that justice happens, and I'm praying for my daughter's safety. And believe it or not, Cash, you have helped me get through many of these days. Your works, you getting arrested and going through what you've gone through. You don't think it wasn't on me while I'm sitting in a jail cell whistling Dixie, singing to all the prisoners in there that Cash Jackson wasn't in a jail cell similar, and I too can get through this. So, like I said, you know, little wins, little victories, little things like that matter. And, you know, like I said, I appreciate you letting me share tonight. I didn't plan to share tonight. I appreciate you letting me share tonight, because, you know, it's important for people to know that, Cash, you're not alone when you say you've been through shit. I understand you've been through shit. I've been through it too. And I want other people on the other end of the screen to know that when we say we've been through this shit and we'll walk with you, we mean it, because we've been there. And it's not just for your entertainment. You have big goals, you have big dreams, and by the time that number on the bottom gets to 1,000 episodes, who knows where we're going to be. But everybody should know in the beginning where we're at. Who knows? Maybe if we got one new one a day, I don't know. But either way, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll try it again. But thanks again for letting me share tonight. And to your audience that stayed tuned and didn't tune me out, thank you. And I really felt good to share tonight. So I hope that others will do the same.
Well, I'm glad that you did. And, you know, I saw CJ had some stuff he needed to get off his chest, and, you know, that's being intuitive to your friends and your family and your coworkers. And right now, I mean, CJ's he's a coworker of sorts, but he's also a friend, and we consider him family. And, you know, sometimes you got to burp it, man. You got to burp the monster and let that stuff out so it doesn't build up too much. And unless you've really lived in that predicament, like what he and I are living in, and there are many of you are, you know, and that's why we relate so well. We're a niche market for one another. Those of you that are probably my closest and best supporters: Dave Lacey, Claire Bowles, Robert Rudemeyer, Tammy Duncan, Claire, Carrie, all of you. You know, we gravitate towards one another, and we hang out with one another for a reason. You know, that there is a connection between us as human beings, and for whatever reason, life has kind of brought us into one another's lives, and we have an ability to influence and impact one another in good and negative ways. And I think that we're a lot better about impacting one another in positive ways and those around us by having this type of community, even if it's smaller. That's okay. Well, smaller means it's a more intimate, you know, relationship between myself, CJ, and all of you, that we are human beings, and we do experience pain and difficulty in waking up every single day and grieving living children that you could just go and see. Like, if somebody would just give you the permission that God already gave you by blessing you with children, but if it wasn't under threat of you're going to go to jail, or somebody's going to shoot you, or you're going to be called in for kidnapping your kid, just for going to see them, to hug them and love them, that's the insanity we're talking about. And that's what we're fighting here. This is a very real dark evil, folks. If somebody who has never been charged with a crime or convicted of a crime can't just be a parent in this country, then it's fucked up, and we need to fix it. It's really as simple as that. I mean, there's nothing more that needs to be said here. That if it happened to any other, if there's any of you that it's never happened to, you've never experienced it. I don't know how much more I can convey it, but that's what we're building out here, and that's the growth that's happening, and that's, you know, I'd be curious to see. Let me look here real quick. I just want to say, because it's been a long broadcast, a little bit, you know, we ran over. We got started a little late, but not bad. That's why it's 8-ish. Remember, it is a working man's news network, so it's 8-ish when we start Central Standard Time. We wrap up around 10 p.m., and that will be our goal. But you know, if it runs over, that's okay. Your people are free to leave at any point in time. So tonight I'll probably knock out. I might do a couple of. This dude getting smacked with this tea with this. This is the best shit ever, man. I don't know who this guy was. He's probably going to be on the news. Here, this guy's actually made a song to it. I don't know if y'all have seen this. If I could bring it up for you, this is the best. This guy gets smacked with a tea. Beat your ass with twisted tea. That's what he's singing. He made a song to it. People are so funny, man. This is the kind of shit, though, that we got to laugh about. Look at him. This guy, he did this, man. Beat your ass with, man, that is funny as shit, man. I got to like him. That is the best ever. But anyways, we're going to reach a lot of people, man, but we're going to have fun doing it, right? There's going to be serious times. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be angry times. There's going to be good times. We're going to experience the normal range of human emotions on the show. And we're going to grow as a family. And part of our family is MarinaPhoenixArt.com. This is her artwork. I know her personally, know her quite well. And what an amazing, talented artist she is. Matter of fact, she's working right now. And, whoa, Dutch. Got my dogs in here too. Have to introduce them one day. Go over to MarinaPhoenixArt.com. Go pick up a piece of her art. Tell her I sent you, Cash. And matter of fact, she'll probably give it to me and have me mail it to you. So if you want a personal touch or something in there of some kind, just let me know. You want an old dirty sock of mine? I'll pull one out of my drawer and send it over to you. Because that's what we do, man. We do weird things here. It's only weird if you make it weird, right? I'm kidding. I wouldn't send you one of my old socks. Send you one of Marina's old socks. I keep all mine for wash rags. And Nick Sky, if you guys haven't liked Nick Sky's work, go over and lick. I'm done here. I'm done. I'm done. Oh my God. When you're live, you cannot afford to fuck up. Because as soon as you do, everybody's got it on video and it's going to be used against you for eternity. That's the best part about what I've done. I've got thousands of live hours. You can cut me to pieces. Not literally. Jesus Christ. I know some weirdo is out there thinking it. Nick Sky. If you need help with some sound audio, reach over to that guy. If you're doing any type of recording, having some audio issues, tell Nick that Cash sent you in the War as Hell podcast. No, Jay, not one of those. My mother's making fun of me. One time I got so stoned, I had what I called an out of lip experience. Like, I felt like my lips were like those gigantic cartoon lips, and they were detached from my face, and they were just talking. Long time ago, way back when. You guys have a wonderful night. Be safe out there. Tomorrow is the last day of 2020. Count our blessings. We will have made it one more year, right? So make it through tomorrow. Don't get fucked up. No car wrecks. Don't get COVID. Go out of 2020 on a good note. Make it a good note. If you got a bad relationship out there, go fix it. Commit yourself to, you know what? I'm going to love people a little bit harder in 2021. I'm going to be more committed to my community. I'm going to get out. I'm going to do more good things, more good works. I'm going to build myself as a person. And I'm going to fight the man. I'm going to fight back against the bullshit that's keeping us all down. And go support us on Patreon. $3 freaking dollars. Come on. $3. I can take CJ to lunch and get him a double cheeseburger, large fry. And if I use the McDonald's app, I can get it even cheaper than $3. We are working folks. We know how to maximize our dollars, and we will do that to maximize our impact on changing the world, even if it means using McDonald's apps for cheap lunch. So much I love you guys. Get us an outro. Where's that out? We're going to change this outro up too soon. I like that the submarine cruising into quiet waters. Maybe that'd be a great outro with some acoustic, somebody on a acoustic guitar, playing a light tune, and I could give one of my kind of relaxing Cash Jackson talks as the submarine sails off into the sunset. Thanks for joining us, man. We're going to be on Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 Central Standard Time. Broadcasting just like this. We're cheap. We're poor. We're doing it from the comfort of our homes at this very juncture. But we're going to get us a raggedy ass studio that we can get fired up and y'all can be a part of. Come down here to Logan County, Arkansas. Jesus Christ. Help me build it. Help us do it. We need your help. I don't know if he's waiting on me to do the outro because he's got like a hand salute he's waiting to drop right now. Maybe he's waiting on me to salute him.
Shut